Hi and welcome. This is Kevin Doherty with BuildYourDreamPractice.com, and you're watching this video called How to Double Your Practice in the Next 90 Days. And however you made it here, whether it was from Facebook or wherever else, I'm really glad you're here. And I'm really glad you made it here because I think what I'm about to share with you should really help you out. And that's really my intention in this video, is to give you a lot of great content, a lot of great value that will hopefully clarify for you what appears to be a big mystery for a lot of practice owners, which is how do you build your practice fast? How do you get over this enormous pitfall of it taking 5 or 10 years, or of hitting these plateaus where you just can't seem to figure out how to go to the next level? Or maybe you're starting out in your practice and you're overwhelmed with all the things you feel like you could be doing or should be doing, and not much is getting done as a result. So there's some analysis paralysis. So wherever you're at in your practice, if you're serious about your business and you're treating it like a business, this is something that means a lot to you. I'm really glad you're here, and I'm going to share a lot of content that will hopefully really help you out here in the next few minutes. So first of all, be sure to check your email inbox for an email from client care at buildyourdreampractice.com. So I wanted to mention that first. We've had a few issues with my email marketing company, Infusionsoft, just delivering the emails into people's inbox effectively. It seems like for whatever reason we've had it ending up in spam folders, or it's just not showing up at all. So make sure that you do check there. If you don't see an email from us at that address, you should have gotten one by now. Be sure to email this address, and my assistant Samantha will help you out and make sure that you do get our follow-up messages. This is all going to be really good content. It should really help you out. So yeah, we want to make sure that you do get what we're sharing, and that would be the first step. Just check it. You can whitelist it. And make sure you're going to get our follow-up emails as well, okay? All right. Now, you are in the right place if you own an established practice currently, but you've hit a plateau in your growth. You are on what I call the practice roller coaster, meaning that you're going through a lot of ups and downs. It seems pretty challenging for you to find a really continuous, even, stable flow to what you're doing. Some weeks are great. You're making a lot of money. The schedule is full. Other weeks, it feels kind of barren, and you're looking at your schedule like, what is going on here? Why can't I fill this thing up? And that's a really frustrating feeling. So that roller coaster ride, unfortunately, it's very common, and I'm going to share a lot of tips in this presentation on how to overcome it. You're just starting out, and you're wondering where to begin. So if you're just out of school, or maybe you're in the first year of your practice, I call this phase 1, or the startup phase. And yes, there are a lot of pitfalls to overcome, a lot of challenges, and a lot of kind of ambiguity, uncertainty about how to proceed and really get this thing moving fast. That's really my goal in this video, as you can tell from the title, is to get you accelerating your growth so it doesn't have to take so long as a lot of conventional wisdom says it should or normally would. You're doing well, excuse me, you're doing well, but you want to grow a lot faster. So you might already be seeing 30 clients a week, or 50 patients, or 100 or more. But you have a big vision for what you're doing, and you really want to just max out your potential. So this is totally appropriate for you too. If you're already feeling pretty good about your situation, but you just know it could be a lot better. Maybe you want to double your current volume or double your revenue, whatever it is, you're in the right place. What I'm going to share, although it's simple, is really designed to help you out as well. And it could be that you're working too hard, which is not enough to show for it. Now, this is very common as well, where you give. You're doing everything you can to get your clients, your patients, great results, and you're going the extra mile, you're over-delivering, you're trying as hard as you can, and there's just a disconnect here. We're not sure maybe what it is, but at the end of the day, you're tired and you don't really have a lot to show for it, whether that's financially or just maybe in the level of internal fulfillment you're getting from your work. So we definitely want to overcome that. Burnout is a major issue in these professions, and that can occur for a few different reasons, but this dynamic in general is, of course, the main issue, that you're trying too hard and you just don't have enough to show for it. So just real quick about me, in case I'm new to you. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I want to make this entirely about you and just helping you out. I know that's why you're here. But just to show you why I'm qualified to offer you some of this information, I built a full practice in a highly competitive market. So I live in Boulder, Colorado, and that's where I built my practice. And just a little backstory on me. After I graduated from school, the first 2 years for me were quite honestly very, very challenging. I went through a lot of internal struggles, a lot of hardship, a lot of stress trying to figure out how to do this. And my family, we didn't really have a backup plan. I had a young daughter at the time, and I honestly went to bed every night, like concerned about my future, about her future, and about how I could provide for my family in the right way. Now, you might be in a similar place to that right now. You may not, but I think a lot of us go through these rites of passage where we really do get tested, and we really have to get real with ourselves and figure out how we're going to how we're going to pull this off in the most innovative and effective way possible. So I really came up against my edge in those first couple of years. I did everything that I was told to do. I tried all the marketing strategies. I pounded the pavement. I hustled. And I really had very little to show for it after a couple of years. I was seeing about 20 patients a week. But for me, I had big goals, and I knew that I could do so much better. And I was really, really frustrated that it was as hard as it seemed to be. So I had a couple really profound breakthroughs after that. I'm not going to get into that in this video. Some of that was more internal, more mindset work that I did, and some of it was definitely more tactical and more of the external systems and kind of marketing process that I got set up. So I'm going to walk you through all of that, both the internal and external components over future videos, but I don't want this to go on forever, so I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. But yeah, at 2 years, I had my kind of breaking point where I was like, if I can't figure this out soon, I really need to just go and get another job and just kind of abandon all this. And I must say, like several years later, I am so grateful that I stuck with it and that I pursued this path and persevered, because it would have been a tragedy if I let go of my gifts, my talents, really my purpose, and pursue something that maybe was a little bit more stable, but really I had no resonance with, and I don't know if you're in a similar position, or maybe your practice is doing great, but you're just looking to scale it up to even an even higher level. Wherever you're at, I want you to know there are solutions. There are ways to move forward starting right now. So that's what we're going to get into. I've been coaching practice owners all over the world since 2005 and really full-time since 2013. I haven't had a practice since then because my coaching business got so busy and really it just went crazy at a certain point. Like the demand for it was more than I could personally handle, juggling both the practice and the coaching work that I do. So that's why I do what I do. Now, I also have some values that I really cherish around portability and schedule freedom and just serving more of a global audience. These are things that I'm really passionate about, and some of that I personally couldn't achieve within the business model of a practice. So I miss it. I love the work that I did with my patients, but honestly, I love serving you even more. I really think that's more of my purpose, is to give you all of these wonderful tools to help your practice thrive. So since then, over the past several years, I've had the good fortune of helping thousands of practitioners all around the world, both in private coaching and group coaching through my ebooks and whatnot. I am the author of several books, ebooks on practice building and personal development. I just recently came out with a new book called The Instant Upgrade, which I'm really excited about, which is more of a performance enhancement kind of book, tapping into some ancient spiritual principles. I'm really into that stuff, but I'm also very practical, and I really like the fusion of kind of spirituality and inner development with marketing, with the practical business building steps that will make you successful in the outer world. I really believe it's the fusion of those two that leads to what you're looking for. Okay, that's enough about me. Let's get into this for you and make sure this is helpful for you. All right, so let's jump right in. So in order for you to double your practice in the next 90 days, there are 3 fundamental things that are going to need to happen. Number 1, you need to be willing to let go of limiting beliefs around money, business growth, the economy, and competition. And we're going to spend just a minute here, because this to me is really the foundation of your growth. What's happening between your ears is always determining what shows up in the outer world. And whatever you believe to be true is getting mirrored back to you in outer reality. So I want you to just stop whatever you're doing after you watch this video and write down, take an inventory of what are your current money beliefs. What are your current beliefs around survival and your current beliefs around how long it needs to take to grow a successful business, and your beliefs around marketing, your beliefs around the economy and how that impacts you, and how much competition there is in your community. I want you to just write down, without judging yourself or like holding on to any sort of attachment to it, but just write down what you've been kind of taught to believe about these issues, and really take note of how Your current circumstances really accurately reflect your belief system. As simplistic as that sounds, it's so helpful to do this and really see how the outer world is mirroring back to you exactly what you believe to be true. So if you believe that money is a problem, that money is kind of the source of all evil, or that it's the number one thing that's blocking you from being happy in your life, or you just wish it didn't exist, or if you believe that it needs to take 5 or 10 years to grow your practice, or if you believe that the economy is kind of the number one factor that determines how successful you are, I want you to just be really honest about that first and foremost. But then I want you to assess the degree to which those beliefs are really genuinely serving you, or if they're just enabling a kind of limited mentality, a victim mentality, a way of kind of building a wall of excuses around being accountable to your own success, to your own impact that you can make in the world. And I'm going to be very honest, very upfront about this because I want to help you. And there's no beating around the bush. The truth of the matter is, in our Western world, we are all deeply conditioned through the media, through religious institutions, through the political institutions, our parents, well-meaning people, teachers in our lives. We are deeply conditioned to buy into very limited versions of ourselves. And when we're out there trying to heal the world and build a successful business, we need to be quite rebellious in our viewpoint of who we are and what we're doing. And we need to be vigilant about looking at the beliefs that we've accrued through the years and be very coachable, be very open about shifting out of those beliefs that really don't serve us. Now, like I said, I've coached thousands of people over the past several years, and I'm speaking from my own experience too. I've been highly vulnerable to some of what I'm talking about here, but I've also really worked on myself, and I've done a lot of the work necessary to get through to the other side where I can really own a new level of value and prosperity in what I do, right? And hopefully that comes through to you. Hopefully this sounds confidence to you and like you're getting something here that makes you feel safe and grounded and like, oh, okay, I can trust this. That's what I want to see for you. And you want to convey those same qualities to your clients or your patients, of course, as well. But that's what I want you to do. That's the kind of work I want you to start with before we really get into the tactics. Is so much of the time it's really quite uncanny when I get my clients to see what crazy beliefs, what limiting beliefs they're holding on to, and just shed awareness on those and see how their outer world is mirroring back to them what they believe to be true. Through that kind of non-judgmental, spacious awareness, we can oftentimes get instantaneous shifts just through recognition, through making this connection. Be like, oh, wow, I was taught to believe this about money. I see now how that's impacting the way that I grow my business and what sort of limits I've been imposing on myself as a result, right? So I want you to be courageous enough, bold enough to go there. Be rebellious, be strong in who you are to hold this standard of no longer being tolerant of beliefs that don't serve you. Now, a lot of us get bogged down in how do I let go of limiting beliefs? And we make it sound like it's this really complicated, really kind of convoluted process. And in my way of seeing it, that's all a story we're telling ourselves to actually prevent ourselves from shifting. Changing out of limiting beliefs is really quite easy because guess what? You're the one holding on to those beliefs and you're the one who has the internal resources to shift out of them. So much of this is just based on willingness, tolerance, and kind of no longer being accepting of anything that limits you. When you get to that place and it's genuine, a lot of this just starts happening spontaneously. But right now, because I don't want this video to go on and on, I just want you to take note of this and get really in tune with your beliefs and be vigilant about clearing out the ones that no longer serve you, okay? Number 2, you need to value marketing. You need to value marketing. And this is something that we are not taught in our clinical programs, in our schools. And to me, this is a real tragedy because so many practice owners are buying into the misnomer that simply enhancing your clinical skill set is what's going to give you a successful practice. And I've worked with so many who come to me and they're like, you know what? I just invested $5,000, $10,000 in the latest gadget or seminar or new online training program to help me enhance my clinical skills. And while sometimes that's great and that can absolutely be a wonderful thing, and it can really help your patients go to a new level of healing, of course, Sometimes, and very often actually, this can be a compensation for not getting the right business building skills that directly impact your bottom line. Now, those skills to me revolve around marketing. Marketing is about getting front end visibility, it's about making sure people are aware of your work. And in droves, in large numbers, not just a few, but many, many people are aware of your work. Now, you can tell when if you go to my fan pages on Facebook that I care about this. And that's a big reason why I've been successful in my coaching business. One of my fan pages has about 60,000 people, the other has about 72,000 people right now. I've made a big deal out of front end visibility because I know for me, the more people that are aware of my work, the better I'm going to do. So you can be amazing at your clinical skill set and still nobody can know you exist, or very few, not enough. And this is a big issue that I see time and again. So marketing, if you've held on to kind of a negative definition of what that is, let's reframe it right now. Let's shift out of that negative definition. So if marketing has felt like salesy or cheesy or awkward, I want you to reframe marketing so it really serves you. So I see marketing in a couple different ways. Marketing is the bridge that connects your innate gifts with the people who need them most. That's number one. Marketing is the bridge that connects your innate gifts with the people who need them most. So you think of it in terms of service. That's a wonderful definition of marketing. The other definition I have is that marketing is the bridge that takes you into your ideal lifestyle. Marketing is what takes you into your ideal lifestyle. So it serves you on a very high level to know how to market successfully, and it serves the people in your community because now they're going to be aware of you because you're doing good marketing. So let's get you excited about marketing. Let's get you inspired. That's what I mean by valuing it. So it's not this obligatory, burdensome thing that you have to kind of put up with. The way that I recommend that you market, it's all fueled by value, by goodwill, and by inspiration. People feel that. Like for me, when I make this video for you right now, I love doing this. I'm passionate about it, and I really hope that comes through to you. And this is marketing. I'm not here selling you anything. I genuinely want to help you. And that's how I'm going to teach you how to market as well. As long as that's the case, you don't have to hold on to any blocks around what marketing is. But we do need to get you to a place where you value it. Number three, you need a client attraction system. So your front end marketing, the way that you go about attracting clients or patients, that has to be coherent, it has to be intentional, and it has to be organized. You can't just dabble in a little bit of this and a little bit of that and have some sort of hodgepodge of different things you're trying with no coherent organization that kind of underlies the whole process. That's what a system is. It gives you coherence, organization, it creates flow in what you're doing, and it creates predictable results. So I'm going to lay out for you what my client attraction system looks like. This is the process that I help all of my clients set up, pretty much without question, because this is what works. This is what I did to build my practice. This is what I've seen work for literally thousands of practice owners who take this seriously and implement. So let's talk about what a system would look like. Now, what most people do is they might set up a website and then they might try to get a few referrals from clients. This tends to be, and I don't want to, I don't want to sound judgmental or anything, but I've worked with a lot of practice owners, and this honestly tends to be what most people do. I'll throw up a website maybe, I'll get it designed or design it myself, and then I'll really work on being amazing at what I do and try to get more word of mouth referrals. So if this is all you're doing to market, that is why you're on the slow path. That is why things have felt slow. There's been a plateau. You have a lot of ups and downs. This is the number one problem because this is probably all that you were taught about marketing. Build a website, get referrals. So what I'm going to show you is that there is way more to it than this. And there's so much more you can do besides just build a site and pray people come visit it and call you, or just wait for the phone to ring with referrals. That is a really slow, painful way to go. We don't want you waiting in business. We want you out there taking a lot of action, being motivated, doing everything you can within your control to fill your schedule, okay? So my client attraction system, you do need a website, and that website does need to be set up in a very strategic, very specific way in order for it to work. Your website is basically your 24/7 sales machine. It's what's doing the heavy lifting of positioning you as the go-to expert, of building value for people, of building trust quickly, overcoming objections, getting people to see that you are the person, the go-to expert that they should see. So at the epicenter of everything we do to market is this website that is set up in this very specific way. And then what we want to do is build out a series of promotional pillars around that hub. So you have your website as the hub, and then we're going to build out a few very specific marketing strategies to give you this front end visibility. So yes, referrals is just one of those pillars. We don't want to rely exclusively on that, but of course it's a wonderful thing. We want word of mouth, of course. Duh, right? We all want that. So yes, that is one of our tried and true strategies is we get referrals, but we need to systematize the way we get referrals. But let's talk about a few of the other marketing strategies that I believe and what I've seen are very, very effective. Networking. So that's where you're out there joining networking groups like BNI, or you're networking with other practice owners, other business owners, medical doctors, things like this. Speaking, that's where you set up front-end speaking gigs that are usually free to attract clients or patients, whether those are in office or at different venues around town that host speakers, libraries, health food stores, corporations, you name it, right? Speaking can be a wonderful way to get new people in the door. I did a lot of that when I was building my practice. Google. So we always want to think as a business owner, where are massive amounts of our ideal clients or patients hanging out? We want to ask that question every day when we wake up. Where are these people hanging out, and what can I do to get in front of those people? So we have the two biggest websites on the planet, Google and Facebook, right? We want to do everything we can to take advantage of these sites because billions of people are here waiting to get inspired, waiting to find the right information, whatever it is. And there's a lot we can do to put our website, our information in front of these people. Now with Google, we're mainly looking at search engine optimization. So that's the way that we structure your website, the coding, the keywords that go into your site, the tags, the content on the site, things like this. There's a lot that goes into on-page SEO, but that is something that's essential. And then there is blogging and just content creation and getting links to your website. There's a lot that goes into this Google process, but it's really not that hard. It really isn't. And if you set it up the right way, it can serve you for many, many years to come. Be sure to look out in tomorrow's video case study because I'm going to show you what I did to build my practice in such a competitive market. And it was largely using Google. It was relying on Google-based strategies to do that. Okay, so Facebook. Facebook is the second most visited website on the planet. I guarantee you there are way more people that are ideal clients for you sitting on Facebook right now than you could ever serve in your local area. Like thousands and thousands of people are on Facebook. Now, my approach to Facebook, as you're going to learn as you watch my videos and kind of check out my process here, it's a little bit, or usually it's quite a bit different from what you're going to see in conventional mainstream, what gurus and coaches are typically offering you. I really love Facebook advertising. You're going to see that. And there's a lot you can do in the ad platform to just basically buy visibility and fame. And I'm going to talk more about that over the next few videos and a little bit more in today's presentation as well. But we definitely want you using Facebook at the bare minimum with social media. Email. I would say in my experience, 95% of the practice owners I start working with are dramatically underutilizing email as a technology that can just do wonders for their practice. So first of all, we want to make sure you are collecting emails from your website. You have a way to stay in touch with people through email, having an opt-in form, a lead magnet, a way to position yourself as the expert and then share a lot of value and get people on your email list. And then we want to make sure that as that email list is growing, you're doing a great job of nurturing connections with your list and sharing great content and inspiring them. So I coach on this a lot because email is so vital to your success. It's such a powerful tool. And once again, I see that it's barely ever utilized to its fullest capacity. Content. Content would include videos, like video marketing and blogging primarily, but also social media content. So I generally like to systematize content creation, get you on a schedule where you're creating some content every month. It's not a big deal. It doesn't burden you at all, really, but a few things that you're going to want to do on a regular basis just to keep your website fresh, keep your content fresh in the eyes and the minds of your audience. It is important. It really does matter in this day and age to have some awesome content out there and to continually over deliver and show people how amazing you are at what you do and why you're the expert, okay? And then advertising. So I am a fan of advertising in general for your practice, but in particular, I really like pay-per-click advertising. I've been helping a lot of my clients with pay-per-click, and we get just tremendous results. I use a lot of it in my coaching business, and it works by far better than anything else I've ever tried to just accelerate growth. So right now, in particular, I really like Facebook advertising, but also Google AdWords in certain markets. That just depends on how competitive it is. Right now, as of the shooting of this video, Facebook is in such a wonderful place for online advertising because it's still relatively new, and so few practice owners are taking advantage of it. So therefore, there's not much competition, which means the cost per click, the overall ad cost is going to be a lot lower than Google because Google is now a lot more established and there tends to be a lot more competition. Quite honestly, most practice owners have no idea how to use Facebook advertising. They may have tried to throw an ad or two up there. Maybe that's been your experience and they're like, it didn't work. But trust me, this is like a whole world unto itself that we can explore, and it's a skill that you develop, right? It's a very specific skill set, and you can't just casually throw up an ad and expect it to work wonders. So this is my process. This is what I recommend that you do is really dial in all of this. And remember, in all of these strategies, you're sending people back to your website. Your website is doing the heavy lifting of selling your services. So you don't have to be in this awkward position of convincing people, coercing them, trying to persuade them. Your site should really do all of that for you. By the time they call, they should already be very qualified and ready to roll, ready to get started with care with you. So this is my process, and it's very elegant. It's very streamlined. I've implemented it for literally thousands of practices, and it works wonderfully. So that's what I'm going to recommend for you is to get this set up, and this is what's going to accelerate your growth, okay? Okay, now I have 8 rules that I want to quickly go through that are really important that you get plugged into your practice. So this will really help you accelerate your growth and also create long-lasting stability. That's what we want. We want to get things moving fast, but we also want processes, systems in place that automate a lot of the growth that create predictable results. So you don't have to feel concerned about your week-to-week schedule or what your financial future looks like, a year from now. That's really not fun, and I know I've been there. So let's talk about these rules. Number 1, your website must be set up in a highly specific way that builds trust quickly, positions you as the expert, and conveys your unique value. Each one of these points is really, really crucial for you to grasp. And I can't tell you, I've reviewed hundreds of sites from practice owners over the years. I can't tell you how many I've seen where the practice owner is just cutting corners, which is understandable. They're just trying to keep things on a really tight budget, and they spend like $100, $200 on their site, but you can totally tell. And it's generic, it looks cheap. We don't want that for you. We want to position you as the Rolls Royce in your community, not the Hyundai, right? We want to make sure you convey the most value, the most expertise, and that it doesn't look cheap because that actually repels people from working with you. So this is true whether you want a multi-6-figure or 7-figure practice, or you just want something a little bit more part-time. Either way, it's going to make your life so much easier if you position yourself in the right way. So your website is what does this. In this day and age, that's your go-to asset that has to be set up in a very specific way to build trust and position you as the go-to expert. Okay, number 2, you want to reinvest 5 to 10% of your gross income back into advertising. To me, if you want to scale quickly, if you want to double your practice in 90 days, online advertising is going to be your best friend. It's like a no-brainer. It's like you take 5% of what you're making, or 10%. So if you're making $30,000 a month, yeah, you could spend $1,500 to $3,000 on Facebook ads or on Google AdWords. And that's just going to blow things up for you if you know what you're doing. And that's a big if. And that is a lot of what I focus on in my coaching, is getting you these skills developed fast, right? So this is just going to basically hit the accelerator on what you're doing. You're going to get in front of way more people than you would otherwise. Your visibility is going to explode. And as long as you have your system set up, your website set up the right way, it's a really safe investment to do this and should be very effective. Number three, you want to be passionate about contact management. This tends to be one of the most overlooked aspects of building a thriving practice. Is a lot of people just focus on the front end marketing, and they're like, I just got to get more people through the door, right? I got to get more clients, more patients coming in. But what they forget is that every single person that hears about you, every single person that's been in the practice, you want to stay in touch with everybody really effectively. You want to keep nurturing those relationships, whether they're a current client of yours, a past client, or a lead, a prospective client. Your job as the business owner is to continually stay in touch with that person. Keep your brand, your message, your content alive in their mind. One of the greatest pitfalls for practice owners is that people just forget about you. And they just go. It's not that they don't like you or that they wouldn't come in. It's just that they forget. They don't think to themselves like, oh, how can I go find the right practice, today to solve this and that issue. They're just going about their lives. They get bombarded by all the details of just taking care of business in daily life, and they forget about you. Your job is to skillfully keep your message alive in their mind. Like, oh yeah, them, oh yeah, them, oh yeah, them, over and over every single day. That's what email does. That's what Facebook does. That's what good advertising does. So you're gently, through goodwill, keeping your brand alive in their mind. That's what good contact management does. And if you take that step, my goodness, it does wonders for your stability and your overall, just peace of mind, your ability to kind of breathe within the practice and feel good about what you're doing. Number four, you want to systematize everything. Everything should be organized, systematized in the practice. You want to get systems in place with your front-end marketing, your contact management, your content creation, how you reactivate people, your accounting, your financing, and how you get referrals. That should be systematized too. So the more you organize and have systems in place, the more money you're going to make and the more peace of mind you're going to have. The more random you are, the more you just kind of do this haphazardly, the more stressed out you're going to be, the more you're going to have to work with not much to show for it, and it's just going to be a frustrating process. And you'll also hit a wall. You'll hit a definitive ceiling in the practice because there's only so long you can get away with that. And if you really want an amazing multi-six-figure practice or more, you got to start thinking in terms of systems, okay? This is more of an inner development tip. Learn how to radiate enthusiasm. A lot of people come to me and they're like, well, Kevin, what is it exactly that gets referrals? Is it just getting people amazing results? How can I get word of mouth spreading just really easily? Do I just have to be a miracle worker and somebody comes in with 20 years of back pain or some internal condition they've had forever and boom, in one session I knock it out for them? Is that what gets referrals? Well, if that's what you believe, that's going to set you up for a lot of pressure and usually not very much fulfillment in what you're doing. Instead, you want to get really enthusiastic about the process, the therapeutic or transformative process you take people through, and be really energized about communicating that with them, reporting what you're noticing to them, even if it's subtle, and just holding this energy about you that is excited about what you're doing. Write this down. Excitement generates referrals. Excitement generates referrals. If you're excited, if people feel your enthusiasm, you will notice word of mouth spreading so much more about what you're doing. It's amazing. It's so simple, right? But when you get bogged down in, oh, how am I going to get more clients? Oh, I got to figure out marketing. And oh, I got to practice management. You get lost in the minutia of what you're doing. It's really easy to forget about being enthusiastic. And you just get lost in your mind, right? So radiate enthusiasm. Have a practice in place every day where when you walk into the office, oh man, you feel good. You feel confident in what you're offering. You're clear. Your energy is radiant. People feel that. It makes them trust you more. It makes them confident in you. And it makes them refer. Number 6, less is more. One of the big pitfalls I see practice owners fall into is, and it's with very good intention, is they want to do everything they can to help their clients or their patients, and they tend to bombard them with too much information. So if you want more referrals, if you want your clients to get better results, See if you can keep your process even that much more simple. Just give your clients just enough to chew on every week, just enough to assimilate to get better. And no more than that, no less than that. So I've seen this with some of the most amazing mentors and masters that I've studied under time and again. These are people that have been in practice for 20, 30, 50 years. And they've written books. They've done it all within the profession. And what you'll find over and over again is that their process is extremely elegant and it's very simple. And their clients, their patients, can kind of relax because it is simple. You have to realize that a lot of your people are coming to you already feeling overwhelmed. They're already stuck in their mind. They already don't feel good enough. And if you bombard them with too much like dietary information or too many homework assignments, that can easily become another layer of kind of solidifying their belief that they're not good enough or that they don't value themselves enough, right? We want to make sure we don't fall into that pitfall and be very powerful in offering simple therapeutic suggestions to your clients. So much more I can say about this, but I just want to make sure you're kind of thinking in this way. Okay, it's really helpful for your people you're working with. Number 7, give away as much information for free as possible, but put a premium on your time. Now, this is such a huge distinction. A lot of us kind of have this backwards. It's really interesting where we're very reluctant to give away too much content for free or too much on the front end because we want to kind of save that for our clients. But look at even what I'm doing here for you. I have no idea if you and I are ever going to have like a coaching relationship together. And honestly, either way, I'm totally okay with it because I genuinely just want to help you. Whether you and I work together or not, I want to make sure that this is time well spent for you. And you get a ton of value from my free stuff that I put out there, the information that I share. That just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. And hopefully it helps you out a ton. And it gives you everything you need to move forward, right? Or at least a lot of it. You want to think in the same way. Be very generous with your front-end marketing and what you share. Be an educational pioneer. Be willing to share just a ton of content for free, but put an absolute premium on your time. So instead of undercharging for your services, what works the best is, man, lead with value. Position yourself as the go-to person. Over-deliver on the front end. And then when people come in, charge a premium. Be a little more on the kind of medium to high scale of pay for your time because you deserve it. Because those people that will pay you what you're worth, those are always better clients to work with. They will always get better results. They will hassle you less. They will drain you less. They'll be more energizing to work with. And, I don't want to sound too stereotypical, but I've seen it time and again. Money really does talk, and it shows people's commitment level. And if they're out there looking to cut corners and invest in the cheapest practice around, guess what? They're not going to be that great of a client a lot of the time. They are going to look for what's wrong, or everything boils down to money for them, and it's just not that fulfilling for you to work with those people. Quite honestly, that's my bias, okay? Now, I want you to help as many people as you can. I want you to be generous. Give away stuff for free. Give away information, but put a premium on your actual time. That's consolidates your energy. It saves your energy, and it enables you to keep growing because you're not going to get exhausted seeing 10 clients a week because you give way too much, okay? And last tip, I honestly have so many more of these tips and rules I could share, but we'll keep it short here. Build culture around your practice. In this social media age that we live in, this is one of the fundamental paradigm shifts that you really want to be aware of. And honestly, a lot of practice owners are getting left behind. It's very true. I see it every day where we are still so focused on just getting people in the door and like, what can I do to get the phone ringing and to fill my schedule? We kind of lose sight of the bigger picture. Now, the bigger picture is that you have to think in terms of building an audience or what we could call a culture around your mission, your vision, and your business in general. So that's your online audience, your social media following, your email subscribers. These are people that may or may not have come into your practice, but they love what you're doing. They're really interested in what you're doing, and they're engaged with your work. Maybe they haven't spent money in your practice yet or invested, but they're there. They're on the periphery. They like what you're doing, and They're part of your warm sphere of influence. So this is what I call your online audience or culture. And your job is to nurture that culture and keep expanding that audience into the thousands. So my people, my clients that are doing the best in local markets are the ones who have fan pages on Facebook in the, in the 1,000 to 5,000 range. They're not just like okay with 50 people on their fan page. They're getting their fan page aggressively built out. They're building an email list. They're building this audience online that becomes a built-in network of people who know, like, and trust them. So it takes a lot of the pressure off the constant marketing. That's what we want for you. We want culture. We want built-in networks. We want people to know, like, and trust you in an automated fashion. Okay? Make sense? Phew. Well, we've said a lot here. Let's wrap it up. Now, I'm going to email you for the next few days with some more case studies and video trainings similar to this. It'll just keep kind of elaborating on what I'm sharing here, keep going deeper into some of these concepts. Mainly, I just ask that you stay engaged. If you don't find my content valuable, you'll see an unsubscribe button at the bottom of any email I send. And yeah, I mean, that's why I do this. I genuinely want you to engage. I want you to ask questions. I want you to message me and let me know how this is impacting you. And please don't just either tune out and just not open emails and just kind of sit there, or just kind of take things in passively. I want you out there taking action. I want you really waking up to your potential and paying close attention to the impact that you can make in this world. I can assure you it's profound and you can do amazing things. I mean, obviously, I don't know you yet, but I don't think you would be watching this video. You wouldn't have even found this. It wouldn't have made its way to you if you didn't have something incredible to offer this world. Now, I'm here to help you do that and to scale that and to make the biggest impact that you can and to do it fast. I'm all about efficiency. So that's my bottom line. And if that sounds good to you, just keep staying engaged. Open the emails I send. Like I said, if you don't want to keep getting the trainings I'll be sending, just click the little unsubscribe button, and that's totally fine. Okay. So yeah, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. We'll keep this conversation going, and yeah, I'm really excited you're here, and hopefully we can get to know each other. Feel free to reach out on Facebook and say hi. And yeah, really look forward to connecting tomorrow and over the next few emails and helping you in any way that I can. So once again, guys, Kevin Doherty, really appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you tomorrow. All the best.